Hi everybody. Well, I started making the radiator. If this fails, I can make it out of plastic. Then I want it to look like brass. If you know any good brass paint that actually looks like brass, let me know. If this doesn't work, at least put it in the comments. Because I might just have to get it if this doesn't work. It's turning out okay right now. Like, I'm not really sad that if I have to garbage it or not. It's just to see what you can do, you know what I mean? If you don't understand what I mean, I guess you don't understand what I mean. Anyway, I annealed the brass by heating it up to cherry red with my little micro torch. I have a bigger one, but hey. Then you quench it while it's still red, and it'll make it soft and pliable. So I'm making that, still working on the arbor here. At some point I realized it's got to be deeper, and I got a little pattern there in my hand. It's marked P for pattern. That is the top line of the beak, the very top part. So anyway, so I'm using that. You see me mark with a pencil. That's a low spot, so I got to chisel all that out. Trying to get it to fit. Got to be tidy. It's not my name, believe me. Alright. Seemed to have worked. There it is. Smoothed out. Smoothing out a little more. Yeah. Got it going deeper. Then I realized it was too long. It was fine. So I'm like, oh, sweet. Anyway. What I meant too long was the arbor was too much into the wood, which is fine. It gives you some room to goof with. There. I thought I hit the button, but there's the beak. And that is wider than it should be, because I know it's got to have the bottom of the beak. And there that is. I used a piece of Frisker's paper. Actually, it's something else. It ain't Frisker's, but it's like Frisker's paper. I use it a lot on aircraft. And I'm going to cut that out. And this is the bottom of the beak. The one in Germany, there's two that are surviving. One in the United States, owned by a guy in Florida. One's at the Benz Museum or Mercedes Museum. I'm not sure which one. In Deutschland. And I'm trying to get the beak in there. And I know this is a lot of fun. So I'm moving stuff in it. Now I'm actually putting it in some toilet cleaner. Something with a little bit of acid in it to clean them. And that, so here comes. I'm putting some flux. This is actually flux and solder for copper pipe or anything like that, so it's edible, or not edible. It won't poison you. And I'm having trouble with my soldering iron. It's hot, but it ain't doing anything. So I'm thinking it's this flux. So I changed my old flux, which had started working. And I'm just run some solder on the sides. And then I will, when it's cool, I'll run some flux over it. And notice I have, there we go. I only did one side because I need to pull one up or down. And I'm pulling the one up so it lines up, so it ain't wonky or anything. Let's face it, it's probably wonky. I soldered it. I didn't show you it. Anyway, I'm cleaning it in some Tester's airbrush cleaner or thinner. I had some laying around, and I use it for stuff like this because it gets rid of it. Then I usually go to Dawn dish soap, and then after that, alcohol or water, then alcohol or something. Make sure there's none of the petroleum on it from the mineral spirits. Right now, I am soldering down the flat part of the beak. The German one, or the one in Germany, is the earlier style with the short exhaust stubs, and the radiator was slightly different. It crowned up in front, and the one in the United States, they changed the radiator. I don't know why, but it's flat about 2 inches below the beak, so it's a big square radiator. Then that's what I gotta make. And I got a mix of drawings. Everything's pretty good. Just the front, and that is a bit on the weird, trying to remember you can't go off that. You gotta look at photographs and go off it, so. Still sanding on it. Okay. I believe now I am trying to make the header tank and the sides of the radiator. Then after I got this all done, posted a video, then I went, I still got to run another piece. I didn't need to even do half the stuff I did. Ugh. Sometimes I wonder. I didn't need to do this, what I'm doing now. I made it harder. But yeah, it's my middle name, Harder. Do it harder. Work harder, not smarter. So I measured the width of the radiator. That's what I did there. Notice some marks there so I can transfer lines off the drawing. And if you can see through my hand, that's what I'm doing, is marking it out with a T-square. I tried to get the best camera angle, and the dang thing wouldn't zoom out. I don't know why. I shouldn't say camera. My phone wouldn't zoom out. Usually I don't have trouble with that. Usually I have trouble with it being too far away, and you guys are looking at dots. I don't know about you guys, but I watch all your YouTube videos, those that have it, on my phone, so I figured a lot of you guys do too, unless you're watching on your big screen TV or your computer monitor. I never watch them on my computer. First of all, I can't take it to bed. Anyway, I'm using hand seamers to bend the sides of the radiator. And those are about $20, the hand seamers. Right now, must be, anyway, they're about $20. You can buy them. These are 6-inch. I have a pair of 4-inch that work better. And the 4-inch ones here they've both been used the same amount, but the 6-inch ones just don't seem to work as well. But you can use channel locks and do the same thing. Just take a little bend at a time. As some guy calls it, all 16ths. Or for you metric guys, all millimeter. You can use channel locks, you can use crescent wrench as long as the end's straight. You can use pliers, anything. Pair of welding, the duck-billed welding ones for holding. You can use them if you want. Anything you got, pliers, or you can get them anywhere, so it can be hard for anybody. But since I was an insulator all my life, or most of my life, I had a lot of sheet metal tools and that, so And right now I'm using the channel locks to bend something out a little, because I can't get the hand seamers in there because they're an inch wide and this is narrower than an inch. So you can just use your head, guys. I've seen you guys' work. Some guys are really good. Anyway, as you're watching my wrist, oh good, it's over. Now I'm trying to fit the beak on the radiator, making sure it's straight, level, and not its beak isn't disjointed. Like somebody came up and slapped it, knocked it off the side, which I did have some trouble with. That's what I'm messing with now, is straightening it up. I'm using a pretty good file on it too. She was taking it down pretty good. Files is a must, as you guys know. Alright, looking good. Yeah. Must not have been perfect. There I'm hitting the end. It just wasn't setting right, according to me. Well, I must have thought it was good. I'm putting some flux on it. And making sure it's straight. And now I begin to have trouble with my soldering iron. First of all, it's blunt. Later on I sharpen it and clean it and had to re-tin it. It just needed tinned and sharpened. It's funny, I wouldn't think solder would get rid of your copper, because the tip is copper on those stupid things. Anyway, hot. So I'm smearing it around. Put a little more on there. I'm going to hold it with my fireproof paper. Then if it catches on fire, it'll still solder it. There we go. I've seen some smoke. Add more. It just doesn't want to flow, so I know it's not right. And I sat and messed with this I don't know how long, with it acting up like that. And then I went, just clean it, sharpen it, tin it. And I'll tell you how to tin it here in a minute. How to tin your soldering iron or gun. If you have a flame, you don't have to worry about it. I actually had to use the flame on this one part here, but I didn't record it. I thought I did, but I didn't. A lot of things I thought I recorded on this, and I didn't. What I'm using to cut down the sides, then I got to bend them out slowly, bend those in. Off camera. Yeah, I'm just pulling back and pulling forward on this dang thing. It's actually pretty strong. I'm shocked. We'll see when I go to polish it. And I'm just reshaping it a little because I bumped her out of shape. I still got a little bit of fooling around. I got a lot of fooling around to do with it yet, but hopefully the next video it'll be done. Now what I'm doing here is I'm trying to make a sharp edge, and I'm tapping it. I'm hitting it with trying to make it sharp. You think it would listen to me? Well, it's never been annealed, idiot. It ain't gonna move. It's just gonna work hard. See, there's what happens when you're not thinking. Alright. This radiator on this car was sent to, a guy from the United States bought it. It had a different radiator than the German cars. This one has more rounded, more highly humped than the German ones, and it looks like an old tombstone that flushes out like a Gothic design. And they thought by doing this it might raise its top speed, which it actually did do higher top speeds than the Germans were doing here. Anyway, the radiator on the German one was arched right under the beak, and the beak was arched clear to the tip. On the American one, it is flat on the beak and about 2 scale inches down, or an inch and a half scale down. It's flat, straight across. It's a square or a rectangular radiator. Which you can't tell in the drawings, but that's why you need photographs. Alright, now I'm going to tin my soldering gun. In fact, I already did it. You wipe it down, you stick it in flux, and then you stick it on your solder, and then solder the whole copper tip clear on up to the collar. And then, see, now it's tinned properly now. Now I'm not having no problems at all. None. The solder's flowing. The flux is doing what it's supposed to do. It's pulling it on the inside, doing a good solder all the way around. Now, right now I'm using a, right here where I got the clamps on it, I ended up, and I don't think I show it, I did that, but on the other side you can see a little black spot. I had to take torch to it. Yep, there it is. There she went down. She fits flush now. A little bit of extra heat. What I was afraid of was melting everything apart. I'd like to get one of them soldering irons that you can dial the heat and use different temperatures of solder. That way, start with the highest temp and work low. That'd come in handy. Unless you don't use solder, brass. Now I'm cleaning it with my wife's toothbrush. Hope she don't get mad. Clean it in dish soap. Scrub it with the toothbrush. It's that old one I have. She'd kill me if I used her real one, wouldn't she? How many of you guys would get in trouble over that? You trying to kill me? Yeah, I ain't trying, honey. I am. Anyway, now I'm taking a rotor tool. Barely see it. I thought I had it in frame. I'm cleaning off those humps, those little triangles that were sticking up. And since it's tight, you shouldn't see any, hopefully, any solder or very little of it. I'm just using it to hit. And I got to get all that bright silver off there, but so I'm just cleaning the solder up, smoothing it out, and especially right below the beak. Now, I am making the lower part of the radiator where the smaller tank on the bottom that would get water back to it, to the motor. I don't even know how it's done. I got to look at that better. I with the photos I have, and I have some good photos, it doesn't show exactly how it is, so kind of up to me there. I guess I could write the guy in Florida, but doubt if he'd answer me back. Anyway, this thing had a triangular brace, or it had the brace on the bottom. It had two brass triangles. And for some reason, somebody wasn't thinking when he was doing this. This needs to be separate. The triangle brace separate from the brace on the bottom. Okay. Now it's a good time to find out. No, I make the whole thing. I wasted about 15 minutes messing with this. Here I'm scribing the line across, and I go and use my X-Acto knife to scribe through. I was kind of hoping to scribe through the other side. Then I clipped the ends. And I thought, oh, I'll anneal it. I'll be able to get it then. There I'm annealing it, heating it up, quenching it. And it's a no-go. You just didn't want to part right there. Yeah, I could have used it. Just when I got thinking about it, no, you got to make it the way they did. So that's what I end up doing here. As soon as I realize it, throw it away. So, oh, this ought to do it. This ought to get it to go. And it was cut. I cut it on the sides and it wouldn't bend. It just kept bending. I went, yep, goodbye. I threw it away. And now I'm making one with the flat bottom part of the radiator. Been going up about 1/8. And then I'll make the triangle pieces and solder them on separate. Then on the sides of the radiator at the bottom, there's a flange that's bent in a U shape and it has a oval with oval cut out of the middle that's riveted to the side of the radiator. I got to make them yet. And there's some stuff in the back in the engine compartment too, but I don't know. I might just with the sides, if I get it polished up, I don't want to get a bunch of solder in that and heating it up. So I used a Dremel cutting wheel. I cut for the radiator loosely, and I'm making sure it's scribed correctly. And I'm not going to even come close to that scribe line because that's it. That's where I left off right there. You can see it cut out there. Got a lot of stuff to do on her yet. Hope you enjoyed it. Hit the like button. You don't have to subscribe, but at least hit the like button and get the video out and going around. I hope you enjoyed it. The next one, hopefully this will be looking a lot better than it is. All right. And see you guys around, and have a good day.